Hello there, people of the internet. Old guns are sexy as hell, and if you agree with me, then I'm willing to bet that, well, if you're watching this channel, then you probably agree with me. So, whenever I show off my old guns, I have many guns that are over a century old at this point, and many of them have significant historical value, and many of them are unbelievably beautiful. And these old guns just have so much history and heart and soul behind them. And there's so much, they're just incredible. Without me sitting here rambling about how much I love them for half an hour, I'm just going to go ahead and say they are absolutely incredible. I got a couple of ones out here, actually. And I've been filming all day, so these are just the ones that are sitting around. Kevin's screaming in the background, so Kevin's my peacock. I got 4 of them. They're all named Kevin. This is an Oviedo Mauser in 7.62 Setme. And I don't know how well it's going to show up because I don't have light on it, but the stock is an unbelievably gorgeous tiger striping. And the history behind this once 7mm Mauser, now 7.62 Setme, but handles 7.62 NATO rifle is absolutely incredible. And that right there is one gorgeous rifle, or something like this right here. This is a Turkish Mauser, 1893 pattern, also with some very incredible tiger striping all along the wood of this rifle. Definitely a gorgeous, gorgeous example of a Turkish Mauser. I really like this rifle. That is a gorgeous gun right there. Or we got ourselves the Yugoslavian 2447. I'm probably going to clean up the stock on this one. This one's from RTI, and it's still got a lot of dirt and funk on it, and the just rubbing my hand on it, I get some darkening of my hand, but I can see the wood underneath. It's like a really dark redwood, and it is beautiful. I really, really like the wood on this Mauser, and I'm not going to refinish it or anything like that. I'm just going to scrub the dirt off of it to see if I can make some of this wood shine, because my God, this would be like a drop, or a jaw-dropping rifle whenever it gets cleaned up. So, yeah, old guns are beautiful. Now, whenever I talk about these old guns, I talk about and compare them to new guns, and I ask people what they would prefer for some sort of situation. As a matter of fact, I actually just recently did a poll asking people if they preferred the old school, wood and steel style firearms, as opposed to having something more modern day. Kevin, calm down. My goodness. As opposed to having something more modern day designed like a steel and polymer that has all sorts of rail systems and whatnot. Definitely not as attractive of a firearm as the old school stuff, but this right here is by far a more capable firearm if you need to use one for a defensive, practical purpose than an old school Milsurp rifle, especially if you are using that firearm to protect yourself against somebody who is using a firearm like this. Now, just because a firearm is made of wood and steel doesn't necessarily mean that they're completely incapable. I have a Ruger Mini 14 out here, and this right here has a significantly sizable magazine in it, and it is external, so you can fit whatever whatever capacity it is that you want inside of the rifle. In this particular case, this one is a 20-round magazine that I have fit into this rifle, and it is a semi-automatic platform, very similar to the AR in terms of capabilities. The one thing I don't like about it is the fact that there's no easy way to mount optics onto this thing, but of course, like every other platform out there, there are workarounds behind that. But as you can see, this is a wood and steel rifle, definitely quite the pretty rifle, that's for sure. Not quite as pretty as like an old school Mauser or something like that, but very, very capable. Intermediate cartridge. I mean, if you get yourself one of the ones that was updated, then you have yourself a nice, accurate rifle. The one thing I don't like about the updated Ruger Mini 14s is the fact that the sights got really cheap. That's one of the main reasons why I like this one so much. Yeah, this right here is definitely a gorgeous rifle and a very capable one. But it still has its set of drawbacks. Like a lot of people, since that is in 223.556, would compare the Ruger Mini 14 to the AR platform. Well, guess what? The AR platform has a means of mounting all sorts of stuff if you have yourself M-LOK rail systems or Picatinny rail systems, you can do optics, you can do lights and lasers and grips and, you know, whatever it is that you want. Your pistol grip on the back, you can go ahead and add one of those if you feel like. I'm sure that there's ways to mount an AR-style buffer tube to this right here, but guess what? That is still an AR-style system, so that goes right back to the AR platform. You can get yourself a folding stock on something like this, or a telescoping stock or something like that, but the AR platform, you've already got the telescoping stock. It's got a buffer tube on it, so folding it doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily something that can be practically done, with lack of better terminology behind that. But unlike the Mini 14, the AR, you can swap out calibers, you can swap out just all sorts of systems. It's a lot easier to disassemble and maintain than the Mini 14. There's definitely a lot of pros that come with the AR platform, but it is a modern system and it doesn't have all the sexy wood and whatnot, and as a result there's a lot of people who just kind of stay away from the AR platform just because they don't like how it looks. And that's one of the things that I myself don't like about the gun community, is the fact that we base so much off of looks. Like, for example, this Turkish Mauser right here, there's a lot of people who would pick this over an AR and go into a battle zone. Or, I mean, this Oviedo Mauser right here, I've made videos on how this right here would be a good choice if you're going to go with a surplus Mauser, because this can take 7.62 NATO ammunition, and that stuff is surplus onto the market because NATO is using that right now to this day. Or if you want to go with a classic Kar 98 style rifle, that would also be a good option. This is not my Kar 98. My Kar 98 is currently sitting inside because I fired corrosive ammo through this and not through that one, and I don't feel like having to clean it. But boy, oh boy, this is a gorgeous style of rifle. But there's people out there that will take the looks of the rifle over the capability of the rifle, and that's just one of those things that I don't necessarily agree with. I mean, the AR is not a good looking system. I will acknowledge that right now. I am not a fan of how the AR looks, unless we're talking about like a retro, like one of Brownell's retro AR platforms, their BRN-10. That was a pretty cool looking rifle, but that's just because I like my historical firearms and whatnot. If we're talking about an old school design like that, or like an old school M16, I like how those look. But the modern stuff with all the rails and all the systems and all of the accessories that you can mount onto it, it's not as eye-appealing. I will acknowledge that. It's not as eye-appealing, not as attractive. And as a result, with it not being as attractive, a lot of people go for the more attractive firearms, even though they are dramatically less capable. Like, for example, yeah, the Ruger Mini 14, this is a very capable firearm. However, if, I don't know, let's give an example. If I were to have somebody, 600 yards away across my field firing at me, and let's say one of us had a Mini 14 and the other had an AR platform with a 4-power LPVO or something like that, the LPVO on that AR, that would give you a dramatic advantage over just, the guy with the iron sights on the Ruger Mini 14. That's a dramatic advantage towards that. Or maybe you can only afford one gun, and maybe you can only afford one gun, but you have multiple different things that you want to do. You can go with an AR platform, although it's not sexy. Get yourself a bunch of different barrels for that AR, and using literally that same firearm, swap out some barrels and swap out some minor internal components, and you can swap out 223 5.56 for 300 blackout if you want a 30 caliber round, 6.5 Grendel if you want to be able to hit effectively at long distances. And there's a couple of different options that you can do with that. If you want to turn your AR platform into a PCC, swap out the upper receiver and swap it. There's a magazine inserts, like a magazine adapter, that's the word I'm looking for, that you can insert into your magazine well to be able to take 9mm magazines. Like, there's ways to be able to turn your AR platform into whatever platform it is that you want, and that's one of the things that makes the AR platform so good. Whereas something like this 2447, this right here is an 8mm Mauser, and if I want to convert it to anything else, it takes a significant amount of alteration to be able to do that, and you need a full-on machine shop versus the AR platform, which is just you take the hand guards off and you take the gun apart and you taking armorer's wrench and there's a big old nut that holds the barrel on, and you pull that off and swap out your barrel, and just, if you have to swap out your bolt and bolt carrier, then go ahead and do that, and whatever conversion it is that you're looking to do with that AR platform. But the point is that it's not hard. What was that? All I heard was, I heard it electronically, so I don't really know what the hell that was. But what are you guys' thoughts on this? I agree, old guns are sexy. Dude, I will take a wood and steel rifle over a modern rifle for every situation other than somebody is using a modern rifle to try and take me down. If that is the case, then hey, screw the Kar 98s, give me the AR platform, and I will go ahead and go to town. And I'm sure somebody is going to go down in the comments and say, Kar 98 will defeat level 4 body armor. Yeah, if you manage to get yourself some red labeled SMK ammunition, then yeah, you are correct on that. The only issue is that it's extremely rare and expensive to find. And even if you do find it, well, you have your bolt action rifle, you send a round down range from your Kar 98 or, other various 8mm Mauser rifle. Most of them during that time period were 3 MOA rifles, so you better hope that you actually hit your target. And if you don't hit your target, then the amount of fire that they're going to send back at you is going to be overwhelming compared to what you can send back. Or if you do hit your target, then hey, guess what? If he has buddies over there, the amount of fire you're going to get back at you, it's going to be not good. And their ability to aim their modern rifles are probably going to be better than your ability to aim your iron-sighted Kar 98. Because if they have something modern, odds are they also have optics. Wow, my eyesight's getting worse. Well, I guess the sun is beginning to set, so, because I can't really see my sights all that well. It's one of the things I really like about optics, the fact that I can see my sights, well, I can see my optic a lot easier because it's just this red dot that is glowing. See, that was just 3 rounds that I sent down range, and, well, I mean, I hit my target and whatnot at the 40 yards that we were at. But with that 3 rounds, if I had an AR platform or some sort of automatic platform like this right here, that 3 rounds would have been downrange immediately versus me having to stand here and cycle this bolt every time I want to send lead downrange. Definitely not the most ideal of circumstances that you want in a rifle as a go-to practical rifle. I would take this over a hunting rifle or something like that because this feeds via stripper clips and you can reload these a lot faster. Not only that, but the iron sights are better than a 3x9 power scope, especially if you're in an urban environment or indoors, maybe inside your house or something like that. I would take this over that, but although they are significantly less sexy, I would take something that has, more practical capabilities than something like this if I had the ability to choose. But man, it blows my mind at just how many people would still pick something like this over something modern just because these look better and they like them better. Yeah, wow, holy crap. I am astonished. I am overwhelmingly astonished. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go ahead and go check that out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you all in the next episode.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.